Good morning. It's Hot Seat. I'm Scott Mitchell with the Appropriations Chief of the Oklahoma State Senate, my friend Senator Roger Thompson. Senator, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you.
Well, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Hopefully 2022 is going to be a good year for all of us, including the state of Oklahoma.
I hope so. And for folks that are tuning in this morning, you're seeing we're back to remote. All right. So sometimes we think this is never going to go away, but I sure do appreciate Senator Thompson for joining us via StreamYard this morning. So let me ask a quick question. The Equalization Board met this week. It had a pretty rosy scenario, but when you first look at this, there's a lot of cautionary tales. There's a lot of money. A lot of folks are already saying we need to give a bunch of this back, but we've got to be really careful, at least when I read your comments, because one-time money, inflation, all sorts of things that should make people be very cautious in next year's budget.
Oh, I totally agree. And Oklahoma is typically a state that experiences mountaintops and valleys. Right now, we're on a mountaintop. There's been a lot of federal money pumped into the state, and we're glad that a lot of people are being helped. But as we look at the national picture as well, we're experiencing 6% inflation. That does a couple of things. First of all, it stops some of our expendable income, so we know that people are not going to have the money they used to have to spend. But also, when they do spend that money, that gives you an inflated sales tax, gives you an inflated use tax. So it looks like the money's coming in a lot stronger than it really is. We're doing well in Oklahoma. The economy is open. We're running about 11% above our projected outlooks, which is a good thing. We like that. But as I have made comments to several, this is not the year to go out and start cutting our income. It's not the year to go out and cut taxes. It's the year that we need to save a little bit more money. And maybe we can jump into that savings thing a little bit later in the program this morning.
That's a great idea. And I think that one of the things I noted in your comments was the inflation aspect. And I'm not seeing a lot of that in budgetary planning. It's going to cost people, you're not going to be able to purchase as much. State's not going to be able to get as much. That's something that's kind of reading tea leaves, right?
Well, that's exactly right, because you're going to jump in and your groceries are going to cost more. And so that takes away some of your expendable income. So I see in time that it will impact our sales tax. It will impact our use tax. I think it will impact to a certain degree our motor vehicle tax as we move forward. So there's a number of challenges that we've got to be on the lookout for as we go through FY 23, and that's the budget we're writing now. What's it going to look like when we get to the other end of this? So what's going to be our certified number? Now, thankfully, we have been saving back some money. We appropriated during the pandemic at about 78% of our authorized amount. Last year, 91.1% of authorized amount, which has given us about $1.8 billion in savings going into this fiscal year. And, a lot of people say, well, that's a lot of money. And it is. It is a lot of money. However, sometimes we have difficulty understanding what $1.8 billion actually looks like. So last year, we take all of our expenditures together, federal money flowing in, we're about $22.9 billion. And if you just take the zeros off of that and say, okay, now we're operating with a $22,900 budget, and we've got $1,800 in savings. That makes a little bit more sense to us in the vernacular that the folks off the streets and like I deal with on a regular basis. And so that's not enough. We need to have about 2.3 in savings. We're going to stress test our budget. And so one of my objectives this year is going to say, let's get that money in savings.
I'm sure this is first of many visits we're going to have about the budget. The governor's going to propose, the legislature disposes, but there are other things. As the chief of the Senate Appropriations there on the outside, got about 45 seconds. Tell us other things that are on your agenda in terms as we look at the upcoming session.
Well, of course, the big thing is the American Rescue Plan Act, the ARPA funds. We have $1.87 billion that has been dedicated to Oklahoma. In addition to that, we have $167 million that's coming in, just infrastructure dollars. $100 million out of the latest infrastructure plan is going to be the base money coming to the state. So how best can we change lives in the state of Oklahoma? And so we're working through that process as well.
The Appropriations Chief of the Oklahoma State Senate is the Honorable Roger Thompson from Okemah. It's good to see you, Senator Thompson.
Good to see you, sir. Thanks for letting me join this morning.
My pleasure. See this again at news9.com/yourvotecounts and follow me on Twitter @MitchellTalks.